Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gaming things. My name is Jamie.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're here to do our monthly wrap-up for the month of March, and it's a wrap-up of all the board games that we played.
All the wins Jeff has had.
Who won, who lost, a little bit about what the games are about. We'll put a tally at the end of who won more, and we'll just kind of keep this going throughout the month.
Spoilers.
And then we'll see who won the most at the end of the year. So it's
Spoiler
just a
alert.
fun little competition between the two of us.
Spoiler alert.
We have our list of games, all the games that we played here, and we're just going to go through them one by one. Tell you how many times we played it, a little bit about the game, who won, etc. Okay, to start off, we're going to start off by talking about Silver Bullet. And we've already done a video on Silver Bullet, how to play and a playthrough. Silver Bullet is from Bezier Games. It's a card game that is all about, really, what's it all about?
So you have a village, and werewolves are attracted to this village by different types of people that exist within the village.
Yes.
So in the game, that is represented by a number. The higher the number, the more werewolves that are attracted to your village by that person. So you want as little werewolves around as you can. Hopefully 0.
Essentially, whoever has the lowest amount of points by the end of the game wins. It's a card game. It's super easy. It's fun. Memorization a little bit. It's
little strat.
Tricksy, little
strat. It's really good. Really good 2-player game. We have a lot of fun playing it.
I love the artwork as well.
The artwork is really good. And someone mentioned that there are hidden werewolves in the artwork. Am I making that up?
I don't know. We'll have to look. Sneaky, sneaky.
Have not confirmed.
Have not confirmed. So we played Silver Bullet a total of 8 times in the month of March. And in terms of who won more, maybe we'll just skip this one, but...
No.
Okay, so Jeff won a total of 5 times, and I won a total of 3 times.
Of course he did.
Listen, I'm just gonna preface this whole video by saying Jeff's been on a hot streak this month, and it's a bunch of...
Ride the high. Ride the high, man.
Is how I feel.
Ride the high.
I'm not doing great this month.
It's unfortunate for you, because the more games we play, the better I'm gonna get. So the trend's just going to get worse and worse.
Why do you think the more games we play, you're going to get better, but I'm not going to get better?
Because that's just how it works.
That doesn't even make any sense. So the next game that we played in March was Fox in the Forest, and this is from Renegade Games. We only played this 1 time in March.
Really?
I think so. I only wrote it down once.
Wow. No. I think there's a collusion here.
No.
So I always win Fox in the Forest.
We played it in February, too, so I think you're thinking of February.
Always. So I feel like Jamie's skewing the numbers a bit in her favor.
I only had it written down 1 time in March. So we played it at least once in March. For anybody that doesn't know, Fox in the Forest is a trick-taking game, which I happen to be... I don't understand trick-taking.
Yeah, Jamie is not great at trick-taking games, and I'm really good, I think, at trick-taking games.
Yeah. So
that works in my favor. I always want to play Fox in the Forest.
I never want to play it.
She never wants to play. Obviously, I'm just trying to boost my stats.
Your numbers. So, Fox in the Forest, like I said, is a trick-taking game. It has beautiful artwork with different foxes and people, and some of the cards give you special abilities. Like, as an example, you can change what the trump card is, you can swap a card, trump suit, all these different things. And it is strictly a 2-player game, so we like it. Jeff likes it, but it is a good 2-player game.
Yeah, and the other caveat is, unlike other trick-taking games, it's actually kind of on a spectrum. So if you take like 1 to 3 tricks, you get a certain amount of points. If you take more than 3, like say 4 to 6, you actually get less points than if you take 1 to 3. And then if you get greedier and greedier, you can actually end up getting 0 points. So there's kind of a spectrum.
There's a sweet spot of
how many tricks you want to take. So
I think it's if you get 6 to 9, that's ideal. If you get over 9, it's not. I can't remember. But it's like if you get like very little tricks, you get 0. If you get too many, you get 0. And then there's like all points in between, and then there's a sweet spot of where you get all the points. And I'm always on such a good roll, and then suddenly Jeff's like, oh, here's another trick, here you go, here's another trick, here's another trick, and then I end up with too many, and I don't know what to do.
So my strategy is always to overload Jamie with tricks, because she doesn't know how to counteract that.
I know, and I know his strategy, and I still lose every time.
I always am just like, all right, I'm gonna take like 1 trick, and then just overload her as much as I can. So
sucks.
She has struggled to understand how to counteract that yet.
Yeah, so needless to say, obviously Jeff won this one.
Yeah.
The next game that we played in the month of March was Funkoverse strategy game, the Harry Potter version, and we played this one time. So for anybody who doesn't know, this game, well, it's by Funko. I think that's kind of obvious, Funkoverse Funko. But essentially, your little minifigs are like mini pop figures, which we love pop figures. I actually own, I think, all of the pop figures that you play with in the game in larger form. But basically, this is a game where you get like different scenarios, you play them out, there's two sides of the board, so you have different goals based on what scenario you're playing. And I really like this game. Jeff is...
It's not a love for me. It is like, it's very cute looking, and the little pop figures are super awesome, and the Harry Potter theme's good. I'd like to try it at more than 2 players. I think it would probably scale a bit better. It's very basic at 2 players.
I do wonder if the scenario that we played was just a very basic scenario too, so we should try the others.
And a good thing about this game too is like you can kind of, there's alternate themes like Golden Girls.
There's Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Nightmare Before Christmas.
And you can play them all combined, which is super neat.
I'd like to collect like all of them. That's
I mean, we would have to be careful with that because we went down an interesting Funko Pop hole where
we went deep into the Funko Pops.
We might have bought in too many. It's a decent game. I would like to try it at more than 2 players, and I lost, so.
Yeah, so I won this one, so that's 1 more point for Jamie. Yeah, when Jeff like can't win a game, he's immediately like,
that is so inaccurate.
I don't even think we finished this game because you were like, well, you won, so it's not fair.
Oh my God.
It's true.
What the heck? No. When Jamie wins a game,
he conceded.
She like wants to go for the jugular. Like, so the last turn, she's already won. There's literally nothing else that can be done.
You finish the game.
Her turn, and she's like, nope, I'm gonna continue this. I'm just gonna build this out so that you have to live in the torture for the next 10 minutes knowing that I've already won.
Finish what you started.
Okay, if roles were reversed, you would do the same thing.
Jeff, listen, that's not real life.
Oh my God.
You gotta finish what you started. Okay?
Alright, fair enough.
So the next game that we played in the month of March was Duelosaur Island from Pandasaurus Games. So this is a 2-player version of Dinosaur Island, which we love. It's on Jeff's top 10 list. In case you haven't seen that video, we'll put it up in the cards here.
Love me some Dino Island.
Yes, so we wanted to try Duelosaur Island, obviously, because Dinosaur Island has a ton of setup.
Big game.
And Duelosaur Island has
big
less
game, many parts.
setup. Big game, many parts.
Big game, many parts.
Big world, a lot of smells. For anybody who doesn't know, with Dinosaur Island, Duelosaur Island, essentially you're building up your dinosaur park, you're creating dinosaurs, you're making attractions, gaining visitors, trying to make sure the dinosaurs don't eat all of your visitors, which is such a problem, really. The theme is great.
Wreck havoc.
Did you like Duelosaur Island? We prefer regular dinosaur.
I did like it. See, again, like, I don't mind the setup because Jamie does the setup, so I love Dinosaur Island because I don't have to do the setup. So I would obviously pick Dino Island over Duelosaur Island, but I would also completely understand why couples or 2 players would prefer Duelosaur, just due to how quick it is. It was really good. I mean,
the big missing thing is there's no like meeples. There's no dino meeples or people meeples.
I really like in Dino Island how you actually build out your pens and you put your dinos on the board. That's absent in Duelosaur. It's primarily card and rolling and DNA stuff, which is great. I really like that part of Dinosaur Island where you actually build out the pens and upgrade your pens and stuff. So missing that, I think, was kind of a recipe for not liking it quite as much. But it is really good. I think it would be a good kind of segue into maybe playing the bigger game with more people.
Indeed. I won this one.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, you won, but I still enjoyed it.
That's because there's some games where you know you're winning, and there's some games where you don't know.
I really do not appreciate the caveats that you keep throwing out. Well, I'm conceding this to you, and then you're just like throwing daggers.
Well,
like,
literally.
No,
that's true though. Sometimes you know you're losing, and you're like, ugh. And sometimes you don't know whether or not you're going to win or lose until you tally up all the points at the end. Okay, next game that we played in March was Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and we played this a total of 1 time. This is by Cephalofair. So we played Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. I have it written down as once, but we played multiple scenarios in that one sitting.
Yeah.
And we did that in March.
Beat it.
and we beat it.
So that's why there was no further play.
Exactly. So we finally finished all of the campaigns, scenarios, or whatever for Duelosaur Island, and now it's completely done. I just have written down win and finish because that's what we do.
Yeah, it's a cooperative game.
It's a cooperative game.
As per our top 11 video, I think everyone's aware of how much I love Gloomhaven.
It's a dungeon crawler. No, it's not. What is it?
Yeah.
It's a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, dungeon crawler campaign game. I think most people kind of are familiar with the Gloomhaven series and what it's all about. You know, you have characters that you're upgrading as you progress through the campaign through experience and new pathways that you've uncovered, and you're getting new cards with new abilities, and it's usually you doing that. But I was a bit sad because we did finish it, but what we might do is we put it all back in the box and
to forget about for a
bit, and then we'll probably pick it back up and play with the other two characters that we haven't played it with yet, and see how that goes.
Yeah. Next we played Villainous, Evil Comes Prepared, which is the one with Scar on the front of the box. We played this one time. This is by Ravensburger Games. For anybody who doesn't know about Villainous, essentially, I can't see you, essentially it is a Disney-based game on Disney villains where you're trying to reach your end of the game goal. Each character has their own goal, and then there's like a fate deck, so it's a bit of like take that.
Yeah, very take that action against your opponent.
I love this game. It's my favorite game, like, of all time. So I played with Scar for this one, and Jeff played with Radigan from Great Mouse Detective, and Jeff did win.
I did exceptionally well that game.
Man, that game is all, like, if you can't pull the cards that you need, you're screwed.
You need to be mindful of how your character works.
Yes, and this was our first time playing with each of those characters.
So we have all of the sets currently except for the most recent one.
We don't have guests.
So there are characters we have not played yet. So when we play, we kind of just grab a bunch and we just draft randomly.
We just happen to pull out the two from the Evil Comes Prepared box, but we did lay out all of the sets.
Yeah.
And we do a little, like, put it behind your back.
So then there's a little bit of, like, figuring out exactly how your character works, and you don't have a ton of time to do that. So to Jamie's point, in some instances with these villains, you really need to kind of get through your deck as quickly as possible with certain triggers that your character has. And it can be difficult to kind of play, you know, figure out the character, but, I mean, that's how we learn. We learn by playing.
Totally.
And I won.
And Jeff won. Whatever. Moving on. So the next game that we played, and this was our first time ever playing this game, but it was The Crew. The Crew is from or by Cosmos, and this is another trick-taking game, but it is a co-op trick-taking game, which is a super popular game right now. So it was our first time playing it. Played it with my brother Jason, and we played through, I think, 3 or 4 scenarios of it, and we won all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get deep into it because
we were having a game day.
We had a game day,
a starter game.
That was just a warm up.
But essentially, like I said, it's a trick taking game. There's like 49 or 50 scenarios that you can play through, and there's like a challenge. So it might be, I don't know, like someone has to win the trick with the red 4 or something. So yeah, it's a pretty neat game. We've only played it once. It would be interesting to play it at 2 players. We haven't played it at just by ourselves yet, so we'll
Jason
probably
did buy it for us, which was very kind. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
One caveat to this game is that you cannot communicate with your people around you. You have one little token that you can place on a card that gives some form of direction to the people around you, but it's not a lot to go off of, and it's a lot of conjecture and figuring out, well, what do you mean by that? But you can't ask. The first time I played it, I was like, I'm not super into this. Again, after thinking about it, again, I'm not a big cooperative guy. I'll be fully transparent with that.
Yep.
Which is weird because I love Gloomhaven.
The next game that we played in March was Overboss from Brotherwise Games. We also have a how to play and playthrough of this video, so we'll make sure of this game, so we'll make sure to link that down below. We played this one a total of 3 times, and if you haven't seen the video, if you haven't heard about the game yet, basically it's a tile placement game that is set in your overworld, and you're trying to be the overboss of your overworld. So you're laying tiles, trying to get different points, different combos, and all of these things, and it is a retro video game style. It's set in the boss monster world? Universe, I guess. And we love this game.
I feel like that game is going to be high on my top 11, top 10, whatever we decide to do. games next year.
So we've played this at 2 players, we've played it at 3 players, and it scales really, really well.
And the artwork is phenomenal, as I've mentioned in the other video. If you
Artwork's
like
great.
kind of old style SNES, mid-90s RPG games, you'll really enjoy it.
For this one, we played it, like I said, 3 times, and Jeff won 1 time, and I won 2 times. Because I am the
I
Overboss.
lost on camera,
I'm the Overboss.
which was devastating.
King of the world. If you want to see me win, you can watch our playthrough. It's super fun.
I was so confident. I was so confident going into that.
Yeah,
It
look
was
where that got you.
Tragic loss.
Big old fail. So the next game that we played in the month of March was Horrified from Ravensburger Games. This is a cooperative game where you're trying to hunt down and kill monsters. Universal monsters, to be specific. We played...
What does that mean for people that don't know? Because I didn't know what it meant until...
Oh, really?
No. I had no idea until you guys, described it to
Universal monsters. Dracula, werewolf, mummy, Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein's bride. Like the classic horror movie monsters.
I did not know that until
Invisible Man.
you guys mentioned it. I'd never heard them referred to as that.
Unbelievable. Dracula. I don't know if I already mentioned him. So
You did.
we played this one with my brother as well, and we won the scenario. We only played it 1 time, and we were against the mummy, or not the mummy, like Brendan Fraser.
We were against Brendan
It
Fraser.
was us versus Brendan Fraser. It was the mummy and the werewolf man, or the wolf man, and we beat them both. So basically, like I said, this is a co-op game. You're kind of moving around this village. There's villagers that are there to help you. You have to move around and pick up different things. So there's like weapons, or there's items that you need to maybe deliver to a certain location, and each monster has a way that you beat them. For the mummy, we had to take a bunch of stuff to the museum, and then we had to do something to beat
You had
them.
a little puzzle that you had to solve in order to unlock the ability to kill him, and then you had to go grab something to kill him.
So what did you think about the game, though?
Yeah, good.
I really liked it a lot. I love the
I don't know
theme.
how many times I'm going to say that cooperative games are not my cup of tea. They're not my forte. This one was okay. I liked it. Above average for me.
I liked it a lot.
Wasn't a love, but I also don't buy into the theme like you guys do. You guys love that kind of old school
monster
horror movie realm.
I'm really big on theme. I don't think you're as big on theme.
I am sometimes. Like Overboss is a theme I'm super into. But yeah, I mean, not nearly as much as you are.
Next game that we played in the month of March was The Lost Ruins of Arnak. And this is from Czech Game Edition, or CGE. And we played this a total of 2 times. This game is a super popular game right now. And it has everything in it that we love. So it has deck building, it has worker placement, there's like this research track that you can go up, and essentially you're exploring this like jungle island place and trying to find the lost ruins of Arnak. And you gotta fight monsters and all this good stuff. Jeff's doing this because obviously he won both of the games, but I came really close to
undefeated. Jamie thought she had me in game 2.
So did you.
She was so confident, and I also too thought Jamie had won, but
I didn't.
She didn't. I luckily had more points in my hand.
The point is that the first time that we played, I really did very badly. I only got like 23 points when they got like 70. So the second time, I think I ended up at like 69 points, and I think you had 70 something.
It's
Great
a game. Yeah, I love it. So good.
The theme is amazing. The table presence is crazy. And it's easy to play, and it's quick. You play over 5 rounds, and it looks like a game that's going to take you hours to play, but it takes like an hour to play.
One piece of advice I would give to people that are playing it for the first time and want to win. There's a lot going on the board. Like Jamie said, there's like this research track that you can get onto.
Yeah.
You can get to sites to dig and defeat monsters.
You can buy cards.
You can buy cards. So there's multiple ways to get points in this game. And if you try to do too much, you're not going to be successful. So
that's what happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, you want to go in with somewhat of a strategy and say, hey, I'm going to focus on the research track and some monsters, or I'm going to focus on the research track and some cards. Like, just have a little bit of mindset going in. Otherwise, you're probably not going to have a great time.
But it is so fun. I mean, even when I lost, I still had a great time. Like, it is such a fun game. Yeah. That is Lost Ruins of Arnak. Lost Ruins.
Arnaki.
Next game that we played in March was Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition. We played this a total of 5 times, and this is by Fantasy Flight Games. Of those 5 times, we won twice, and we lost 3 times. I love Mansions
It's
of Madness.
such a punishing game at 2-player.
It's really hard at 2-player. So what we did, because there's certain scenarios that are just like insanely difficult. So of those 5 times, we only played 2 scenarios. So we played one of them this month twice, lost one once, and the other one 3 times, lost twice, won once. Yeah, so we had to implement some house rules. So for anybody who doesn't know, Mansions of Madness is like you play it with an app. There's scenarios. It's a Lovecraftian, apparently.
Lovecraftian theme.
It's a Lovecraftian theme.
Cthulhu and friends.
Yes. So like the app is telling you what to do, and it's showing you like, okay, now you've opened this room, so here's this thing, and a monster appears and all this stuff. And you're trying to fight the monsters, win the scenario. You don't necessarily know what the win condition is. You have the opportunity to go insane and play against the group. And there's just all of these things, but it really relies heavily on dice rolling. And if you are having a bad night rolling dice, which has been the case, well, it's usually the case for Jeff, but it's been the case for me for the past like 2 or 3 scenarios. It really takes the wind out of your sails, because there was one scenario where I was literally being attacked by the same monster over and over and over and over again, and I couldn't do anything because every time I rolled, I didn't roll what I needed.
Yeah, it's punishing. It's a very punishing game. And it's not typical wherein like you might pick up a bunch of items and then you're like overpowered and things get way easier. Like, not how this game works. And you're also rolling, and the dice themselves are super difficult to roll successful results for.
We did play these 2 scenarios, and they are high difficulty levels. So the one that we just won was a 5 out of 5 difficulty, and the previous one I think was 4 out of 5, but apparently it was the hardest scenario to beat in the game according to the world of the internet.
A lot of people were feeling similar feelings to what we were at a 2-player scale for this game. So some of the suggestions we took into consideration and actually implemented. We could add 1 action to each of our turns. So instead of 2 actions, we had 3. That was the primary one that changed a lot for us. It's still super difficult, but was just a little bit enough to kind of turn the scale in our favor.
Yeah, it's the only way we ever could have beat those
scenarios. We would not have beaten those scenarios with 2-player
No.
under the normal rule structure. I mean, don't take this as don't play this game.
Oh my god, I love this game.
Jamie loves this game. I'm a bit cooler on it than she is. It's still very fun. The theme's amazing. The app's great. The board is beautiful. Highly recommend it. Just keep that in mind. Like, try not to get frustrated if you are similar to me.
So the next game that we played in the month of March was Fort from Leader Games, and we just bought this one in March.
We
played this one 2 times, and essentially the gist of this game is that you're a little kid who just wants to get some toys and pizza and hang out with their friends and build a fort. It is a card game. You're, playing a card. You've got a public action and a private action. The other players can follow your public action like they're following the leader. You've got best friend cards, which are like these little kids, and each card lets you do different things. So like building a fort, or gaining some toys or pizza, or discarding a card, or gaining a new friend, or all of these things. The theme is amazing. The art is amazing. The gameplay is amazing. I hate this game. No, I'm just kidding.
Again, another game that we just started to play and already are falling in love with it. It's a bit different than from your typical deck builder game. You're not overloading yourself with cards, and it's not like this combo of like, I'm going to play 6 cards and they're all going to
You could play 1 card.
Synergize off of each other and do these crazy combos. You're playing 1 card.
Yeah.
And there are things you can do off that 1 card, but it's not this big, elaborate kind of, again, synergy-based deck builder.
Yeah, and you can steal other people's cards, which is part of the fun. In the last game that we played, our decks were so small because we just kept taking each other's cards.
When you recruit, is called in the game, you can pick one from the 3 cards or 4 cards that are up from the deck, or you can take cards from the other person's yard. So there's some strategy in taking cards from the other person's yard because that card doesn't go back into their hand. So Jamie and I were just
stealing.
Stealing
friends.
We're just trading off cards back and forth, so our decks weren't growing, but we were kind of just able to, manipulate each other's decks, I guess.
So we played this one twice. Jeff won once and I won once, so even Steven.
We're even Stevens on
Jeff would like me to
fort.
tell you that the last game was technically a tie, but because I had a higher fort level, that means I win.
Jamie won the tiebreaker.
I won the tiebreaker. All right, next game that we played in March was Agricola, a classic from Lookout Games. I feel like pretty much everyone knows what this game is about, but essentially you're like a farmer trying to build out your property with sheep and cows and livestock and vegetables and growing your family and having kids and all this weird
You can
stuff.
tell when Jamie doesn't like a game,
like
but
this game.
based off of how much energy she has in describing a
Like,
game.
I just think, okay, so theme is a big thing for me. I'm not into this theme. I'm into farming themes, sure. If they're cute, this game's not cute. Like, it's just like, here's a field, do stuff.
You
and I'm
like the livestock, the little livestock meeples.
all I wanted was the sheep. I don't care about anything else.
We should mention
It's
that.
a worker placement, I think, is the best.
Yeah, it's definitely a worker placement, and you're kind of advancing the board with new areas you can put your worker on as you go through certain years.
You gotta feed your family, like...
We forgot we had already played this
Happened.
a year or two ago, and then we just played it again recently, and I really like it. I love worker placement. The theme didn't bother me. It's kind of like Duelosaur Island, where you're kind of building out your farm. You're building your house up, and you're putting up fences for your livestock. I really like those games that kind of allow you to build your own little area up. And Agricola does that, and obviously I won, so that helped.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, you did. Jeff won. Next game that we played was Castles of Burgundy, and we
First
played
time.
this one once. It was our first time ever playing it from Ravensburger Games, and this is a dice rolling tile placement game. You're rolling dice and you're selecting different tiles to lay on your, I think it's like
player board
or kingdom. I don't really know. I'm assuming it's like a kingdom.
I would say.
And each type of tile allows you to do different things. Yeah, it was our first time ever playing it, and I love this game.
Yeah, we both really liked this game.
Yeah. And I know this is a super popular game, and I love tile placement, so I kind of knew going into it I was probably going to enjoy it. But there are like a lot of different things you can do, and we've only played once with the simple board, so I know that there's different board options that give you different things that you can do.
I think our version's like the most recent version, which has some upgraded rulebook stuff, but I also found, like, even with the upgrades of the rulebook,
is
that was tough to navigate around. Just little semantic questions that came up during our playthrough were difficult to find, and it was a lot of like hopping online to try and find the answer to our questions. But that aside, the game is awesome. Very strategic, because you have only a certain amount of tiles up on the board that you can take, because part of the game is making sure other people don't get tiles they may want. Big fan of Castles of Burgundy.
So Jeff won this one, so we don't need to say any more about that. Next game that we played was Isle of Cats from the City of Games HQ, and we played this one twice, or I should say, we played it together once, and then I played it solo once. Isle of Cats, I love cats, I love this game. I did an unboxing video of this game. Essentially, it's a tile placement, like polyomino cat tile placement game. You're placing them all on a ship, trying to cover up certain rooms and rats and get combos, and then there's lesson cards that give you extra points at the end of the game. I love this game. Once again, tile placement games I love. Do you love this game?
It's good. I wouldn't say I love it, but I like it.
I like it a lot.
Again, another game I'd like to try it more than 2-player.
Yeah, we've only played it at 2.
Very cute.
There's little tiles of cats licking their butts.
Yeah, you're saving cats, or I'm assuming
you're saving cats from the
this
evil Veshnier or something.
So you're
like
catching them in your basket, you bring them to your boat, and you want to fill up your rooms with cats, and they all kind of Tetris
cats
on your board.
We played this one twice. Jeff won once, and when I played solo, I won. So
what? That doesn't.
Well, I almost lost. Okay, so when I played this game solo, I'm not used to playing games solo, so I thought, oh, this will be a fun one to try out solo. And basically, like, I read something wrong where I thought the Automa's lesson cards were counted for me for some reason. Like, everything's about me. I don't really know why I thought that. But I still ended up winning by a couple of points. So, yay me! I won one.
Good job.
Thank you. Oh, that's it. Those are all of the games that we played in March. I did write down here that like I play a lot of games on Board Game Arena, so I'm not going to say like how many I played or whatever. I played a lot of King Domino, like a lot of King Domino. I can always like hear it. I love that game. I also played a lot of Welcome to, Carcassonne, Chakra, and Draftosaurus. Those are kind of the games that I tend to stick to because they're easy, they're quick, and they're a lot of fun. So those are the games I played on Board Game Arena.
Yeah, if anyone's playing on Board Game Arena,
yeah, hit me up.
Throw a comment.
Think my username is like jhon18, I think.
Yeah,
I'll put it down in the description.
Just throw a comment in if you're playing, and you
I'm always on there.
I do play a little bit on there. I mean, it's not on the list, but I did play a couple rounds of seasons.
So we played a total of, I'm not going to count. We played a bunch of games in March, and the total wins. So Jeff comes out with 14 wins for the month of March.
And the crowd goes wild! People everywhere!
I come out with a total of 9 wins. So not my best month. Not my best month.
I am so stoked that this trend is happening.
I can't wait until your winning streak ends. We will be doing another video soon that's all about, it's just going to recap what we played in January and February because we didn't really have a channel then. So we'll do that video and then we'll kind of have like a running tally of how many games each of us has done.
I have a suspicion.
And
I have a suspicion.
What?
Jamie wants to include the months before the channel started because likely she won more games in those months. So yeah.
We'll do that. We'll have a running tally for the entire year, and then at the end of the year we'll see who has won more games, and then the loser should have to do something funny.
Some sort of challenge?
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Something. We'll have to think of something. If you have any ideas,
end of year
let us know.
Punishment for the person who wins the least amount of games.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
It's not me. That's all that we have for you guys today. Let us know down below what some of the games you played are in March. We would love to know. Let us know if you played any of the games that we've talked about. We would also love to know. We just love to know things.
If you have any suggestions on games that I could win at versus Jamie, always open to that. We do read all our comments. We appreciate them.
Answer all of the comments.
Please continue to have dialogue with us. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we're looking forward to doing this some more.
More.
More and more.
If you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel, Foster the Meeple. You can also follow us on social media. On Instagram, we are at Foster the Meeple, so please check us out on there as well. We post pretty much every single day. That's all we have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. That's all. That's it. And we hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.
Later days. Oh, I love, we have a whole section talking about how many games I want. Yeah!
Let's start that over again. Silva.
The more werewolves that are.
We're having a hard time with ours. Game that we played in the munch.
Oh, boy.
Wowza.
We are killing it. You didn't do your thing before we go on the video. You know, the mouth exercises. I've never seen it. So alright, I will do that. I will keep that in mind moving forward.
I never end a game early.
Oh my god. Alright, whatever. I'm not arguing about this in front of the camera. I disagree. Well, I disagree wholeheartedly. It
doesn't matter if you disagree, because what I'm saying is the truth. So we play Jaws of the Island. Jaws of the Island?
Jaws of the Island.
Not dinosaurs. I'm still stuck on dinosaurs. Ruh-roh. Didn't look that one up.
Didn't look it up.
1 second, please.
It's kind of a pun.
What?
Trick-taking. Strong suit. Get it? I'm even funny when I'm not trying.
Right.
Like there's a step-by-step process.
What? And this is from Czech Group. Wait, what? I'm growling. I'm so hungry. I hope you can't hear that on the camera. She's real loud. Or what?
Holy boy.
Starving.
What's going on down there?
So hungry. I only had cereal for breakfast. It was not enough. I'm hungry. Know down below what some games, oh my god, let's do that again. Woo! Are we gonna eat now?